Alright, hey, what's up YouTube? It's Got Money here again, and I was on the NFL Network. I was looking at some of the signings and what's been going on with the teams. So I was going to start with teams A through D, so it's like Arizona, Atlanta, Baltimore, Buffalo, Carolina, Cincinnati, Cleveland, and a little bit of Dallas. In Detroit, and there's really, I don't follow Detroit, and they really don't have that many big players on out there in free agency. Alright, so start off with Atlanta. Defensive tackle Branch. He's going to Seattle. They really do need a defensive tackle. Our wide receiver, Steve Preston. He's going to Kansas City. And other than Larry Fitzgerald, I think Steve Preston probably was their second best receiver last year. Running back Tim Hightower. He's still looming in free agency. I don't think Atlanta's going to try. Arizona's going to try to pick him up because I think they had their eyes set on Beanie Wells. I think they're going to try to make him their starting running back. And finally, for Arizona, kind of the major key players, Ben Patrick, the tight end's going to New York. It didn't say the Giants or Jets. It just said New York. I'm guessing it's the Giants because I think they got rid of Kevin Boss or they re-signed him. I remember Kevin Boss was out in free agency, so it just says New York. I'm guessing Giants. Move on to Atlanta. The guard Justin Blaylock, he re-signed with them. They'll need him because their line was a little shaky last year, and he was probably one of their best linemen. The wide receiver Michael Jenkins is going to Minnesota with McNabb. I think Jenkins was really their best receiver last year, and since he's moved to Minnesota, they'll already give him McNabb a good target up there. There's two back Julius Norwood. He's going to Seattle. I think they should have kept him because Turner, he tends to bulldoze and sometimes he gets hurt, and then they had to bring out Norwood. So I think St. Louis probably made a good choice of signing him before Atlanta made its second thought about it. And finally, for Atlanta, wide receiver Eric Weems, he resigns, so he's probably going to take either the 2 or 3 receiver in the lineup since Michael Jenkins left. Now go on to Baltimore. Their cornerback Chris Carr, he resigned, so they'll still get kind of a dominant secondary. Defensive tackle Kelly Gregg, he's going to Kansas City. Kansas City, they've been trying to stack up on they were actually been going after pretty good playmakers because they got Kelly Gregg and LeRon McClain, who are two really good playmakers. Because LeRon McClain, you could hand it off to him, even though he's a fullback. You could hand it off to him, you could throw it to him, he can block. He's an all-around fullback. So Kansas City, I give them a grade of A in this free agent signings because they actually did grab some pretty good players. And wide receiver T.J. Houshmandzadeh, he's still looming out in free agency. I don't know if anybody's really going to pick him up because he's starting to get up there in age, and he's really haven't been that reliable lately. The tight end Todd Heap, he's going to Arizona. That's going to be a real big loss for Arizona and Baltimore in their aerial attack, because now they're not going to have that much of a kind of red zone tight end, because he was a real good red zone tight end. You could send him on a little post route to the edge of the end zone, he could catch it. Next is their strong safety DeJuan Landry. He's going to Jacksonville. Which Jacksonville, they're trying to kind of get a real good defense back because their defense was a little shaky last year. They still have okay line, just their secondary. They'll need another counterpart to Mathis. So they've been trying to get some safeties and cornerbacks. Yeah, Ron McClain, he's going to Kansas City, fullback. Running back, Wilson Gahey, he's going to Denver. Um, and I do have on here for Denver. Um, they did get rid of Buckhalter, I think. Oh no, he's still in free agency. Nobody's picked him up yet, so I think McGahee will be a really good addition for kind of good two back for Noshawn Marino. And finally for Baltimore wide receiver Dante Stallworth, he's going to Washington. I don't really think he got that much playing time in Baltimore, but I mean, the Browns picked him up, and we're thinking, okay, we got Dante Stallworth. He's really going to be good. And he really didn't do so good. We traded him to Baltimore, and Baltimore said, all right, we'll try with him. He really didn't do anything there, so then they traded him to Washington, which I don't. I think he's about done too. I only have one guy for Buffalo because I don't follow Buffalo, and they really don't have that much playmakers. So the only person they got is their tight end Scott Chandler. He resigns. I really don't follow Buffalo. I don't know who's playmakers there or not. I didn't see any like quarterbacks, running backs. It's mainly just like offensive line, defensive line, linebackers. I mean, I don't follow them that much, so I really don't know. All right, next Carolina. Their tight end Jeff King, he's going to Arizona. Arizona, they've been really getting like tight ends, wide receivers, because ever since they lost Anquan Bolden, they've been kind of looking for receivers, and they kind of want other weapons other than Fitzgerald because every other team's going to know that, hey, they're going to be throwing to Fitzgerald. So they've been trying to get some new guys. Also, the defensive tackle Derek Landry, he's going to Philadelphia. Video quarterbacks is Matt Moore. He's going to Miami. And I'm still watching NFL Network, and they had Kurt Warner on, and he said that Matt Moore probably is going to give Chad Henne a run for his money at the starting quarterback spot because he said right now Henne's going to be the man to start, but he thinks that Matt Moore is going to at least impress some of the coaches and kind of push them to try him out a few games if Chad Henne isn't doing very well. Next is their other tight end, Dante Rosario. He's going to Denver. Denver, I've been seeing that they've been trying to get running backs, kind of like somewhat of a cushion if either Orton or Tebow doesn't become very well. I mean, they can still have some tight ends or receivers or some running backs to fall back on. And finally, for Carolina, D'Angelo Williams, a running back, he resigns, so they'll have a really good running back behind Jonathan Stewart and Charles Sutton. And I actually go to the high school that Charles Sutton went to, Archbishop Hoban High School up here in Northeast Ohio. Mr. Ohio, I mean, he's really good, and the coach his high school coach, he still coaches for Hoban. And we're actually doing decent, so yeah, just kind of be a little fun fact there. Alright, now we'll move on to Cincinnati. Alright, Cedric Benson, he resigns, so they still got their kind of running threat. Their center, Kyle Cook, he also resigns, so they'll still have a really good center. Their defensive tackle, Jonathan Fanny or whatever I could call him, Fanene. He's still a free agent. I say he did decent last year for going up against other teams that have a lot more talent. Alright, their middle linebacker, Dahai Jones, he's still in free agency. It was funny watching Peyton Hillis run him over last season. Cornerback Jonathan Joseph, he's going to Houston. Tight end Richard Kelly, he's still in free agency. And the fullback Brian Leonard, he also resigned. I'm going to go to Cleveland. My list for Cleveland's kind of big because I live in Cleveland. I know who the fans like, and I know who the stars are. So if you're a Browns fan, I got a good list for them. Our cornerback Mike Adams, he's still in free agency. Our outside, we re-signed Marcus Bernard, our outside linebacker last year. Defensive tackle Kenyon Coleman, he's going to Dallas with Rob Ryan. Franchise, our kicker Phil Dawson, he resigns. Thank God. 2 days ago, I went to Browns training camp, and I was sitting, and one lady, and there's this lady that was sitting in front of us, and she was like, "Hey, Phil Dawson, franchise!" And he looks over, he waves at us, and he walks over. I'm like, "Oh my God!" So yeah, that was pretty funny. Our tight end Evan Moore, who's probably my favorite tight end of all of us, of all the tight ends, he resigns. Our defensive tackle Brian Schafering, he also resigned. He's probably going to take the place of Kenyon Coleman. We're probably going to use Jabal Sheard, our rookie defensive end from Pitt. We're probably going to put him where he is and probably just move Schafering to the other defensive end. Chancey Stuckey, who screwed us out of our chances of winning against the Jets. He got picked up by Arizona. Our outside linebacker Jason Trusnick. And funny story about that too. I live up in the town I live up in here in Northeast Ohio. I'm in the same area as Jason Trusnick did. He went to Nordonia High School. I live in Macedonia, so the whole Nordonia Hills area. So I live by the school that Jason Trusnick went. He's going to Miami. Our key fullback, Lawrence Vickers, he's going to Houston. Looks like Houston's trying to get some more defensive, kind of running backs or wide receivers, running backs. And then finally, Floyd Pork Chop Womack, or yeah, we call him Pork Chop. He's going to Arizona, so we're losing him. Cornerback Eric Wright, who I'm not that big of a fan of anymore, he's going to Detroit. And finally, our back center Billy Yates, he resigns. And then I'll finish up in Dallas. Two really key players I have: running back Marion Barber, he's going to Chicago, and Roy Williams, or Royce, he's going to Chicago. And to finish it up, I'll finish up with Denver. I really only got two players here. I got running back Carl Buckhalter, he's sold him out free agency, and the tight end Daniel Graham, he's going to Tennessee. So I might post a few more videos on free agency, kind of get maybe just like real big key players, maybe not like the little dinky guys that really nobody knows and everybody cares about. Yeah, comment, rate, subscribe, please comment. Comment please, because I like to see what your views are, because I like to see what you think of my views and what I'm saying. I like to see what you guys also think about these trades. So please comment. I love reading your guys' comments. So please comment, rate, subscribe. Please subscribe. I'm trying to get more subscribers. I've been getting out of my Call of Duty videos to get on something that's more modern, what more people are like watching. So yeah, please subscribe. Thanks.